Mr. Clarke back. Time to take a look at 20.1 America and the world economy. Some of the key objectives we'll be taking a look at as we move forward today will be how the United States impacted and was affected by emerging economic issues within the globalization of the world economy. We'll explain how globalization and the rise of the service sector impacted the U.S. economy. We'll understand how the global economic challenges facing the United States impacted society. Number one, a list of global issues that concerned American leaders by the late 1990s. Well, obviously, during this period of time, we're moving into the tech-based era in world history. Computer technology, the internet was linking economies around the world. And one of the key reasons for globalization during this period of time is the internet, because obviously you can sell something on eBay, for example, something very simple, or Amazon can hit target markets around the globe, and that's just online. As we look at globalization, or the true global economy, began to really develop during the late 1990s. That was during the Bill Clinton administration. The Clinton administration often gets credited with the tech revolution in the United States and world history. And finally, the United States and other nations around the world are instantaneously linked together today with e-commerce. That's kind of the key thing there that I just alluded to. How did the United States trade deficit impact our economy? As the global economy developed, the United States trade deficit grew as we were importing more than we were exporting. Remember the three different ways you can have trade. It's based on supply and demand, trade coming in and out, imports and exports. So if your imports and exports are roughly equal, that's a balanced trade. If you export, which means you sell more than you purchase or import, so you're exporting or selling more than you import, that's a trade surplus. You're making money. Flip it, and you're buying much more. You're importing more than you're exporting. That's a trade deficit, and that's a net negative in the economy. 3, what was the European Union? So in 1993, the European Union was created to promote economic and political cooperation between European countries. The EU created a common bank. The euro currency was developed, which is a common currency for member nations. There are 28 European Union countries today. 4, how is the EU designed to impact trade in Europe? By uniting the currencies of Europe, the EU encouraged European nations to trade with each other without additional trade tariffs or taxes on imports and exports. This obviously would hurt the American economy. It was designed to hurt the American economy. And let's take a look here at this little map. In what part of Europe has the EU membership expanded in the 21st century? Well, it's pretty easy to figure out. It's the eastern portion of Europe. These were former Soviet bloc countries, which are now economically independent and free from Soviet communist control, and as a result, they had a big impact on the expansion of the EU. And really put the response there for you, but just in case you're looking for that one, Eastern Europe. What is Nafta? Well, this stands for North American Free Trade Agreement. This established a free trade zone between Canada, the United States, and Mexico in 1994. Why did the United States come up with NAFTA in response to the EU? The United States felt threatened when trade became so easy within the European Union. NAFTA was a way for the United States to gain economic power by teaming itself up with other nations that bordered them. Obviously, Canada and Mexico are not part of a greater or grander United States, but kind of a similar fashion as to all these European countries coming together. The United States, Canada, and Mexico came together in 1994. What replaced NAFTA? NAFTA was revoked and replaced by President Donald J. Trump in 2020. The U.S.-Mexico-Canadian Agreement, the USMCA, is a trade agreement between the named parties. The USMCA replaced the North American Free Trade Agreement. What is the WTO? And we're looking at a wide variety of different organizations and groups that is having an impact in contemporary times. The WTO, this is the World Trade Organization. You can see the logo here, and I'm going to bold out the letters for us again. Magic, W, T, O. World Trade Organization was created to administer international trade agreements and help settle trade disputes. This is really an effort to help the global economy. How has economic globalization had a positive impact on world politics? Yes, countries that trade with the United States are exposed to the ideals of democracy and the free market economy. Some countries like China have chosen to adopt reforms because of their trade relationships. And why has the United States service economy grown in recent years, leading to a larger proportion of jobs in healthcare and education? Other areas of the economy, such as agriculture, have shrunk, and many manufacturing plants and factories have moved overseas. The service economy is still needed because of the growing number of baby boomers who really need help, especially in the healthcare area. Caring for people in the United States cannot be obviously shipped overseas. As many of these jobs are being shipped overseas, you see a decline in union membership, and this has been kind of constant in recent American history. You can see the trend lines there from 1964 through the 21st century. 11, why have some multinational corporations begun to manufacture their products overseas? Well, in other countries, the minimum wage is much lower. Workers do not have the same protections. This also means that products can be manufactured at a lower price. 12, identify 3 supporting details from the following statement. Computers have had a huge impact on the American economy. So you're looking at that statement and kind of make a conclusion based on that statement. Okay, 12A, computers have allowed some businesses to become more competitive because of their high productivity. B, computer programs can reduce waste. C, computers have replaced jobs that used to be done by people, by humans. 13, how have technology and globalization impacted unions and workers' rights? Unions are weaker because of the technological revolution and globalization. We alluded to that earlier. Now less than 12% of workers are in unions, and worker wages have failed, or workers' wages have fallen quite a bit. Just moving that graph around, I think it's more appropriate for future generations to see it in this spot here. So less than 12% of workers are in unions in contemporary times. Most unions are in the blue-collar jobs, such as manufacturing and mining. Many of these jobs have now moved, as we mentioned earlier, overseas. Fourteen, why is the growth of the economy in China a cause of concern in the United States? China is becoming a powerful economy and is in direct competition with the United States of America. However, it has a communist government that does not value the same democratic ideals as the United States. Chinese workers are also able to produce goods more quickly and cheaply because they do not have the same standards for minimum wage and for worker rights. You can see the impact of the GDP, the gross domestic product, seeing how China's economy has expanded greatly in the 21st century, almost straight up on a diagonal. And you can see there Chinese manufacturing and imagery on the right-hand side there. And then finally, the lesson reflection lists the greatest challenges the American economy faces here in the 21st century. A rapidly expanding population. Projections have the American population pushing out to about 450 million people from its current 330 million or so by 2050. Cultural diversity, globalization, e-commerce, and scarcity of resources are all issues that are going to continue to face and plague the United States as well as some of our allies around the world. And until next time, Mr. Clarke is out.